taking over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast. It's pain-free Friday. Ferrall's going out. Minutes on the mahogany. Waxing it up. 100, 200. The bad seat. The bad apple with a bad attitude. We are live in New York City. The Big Apple. Ooh. People dressed in plastic bags to rent and traffic. Some kind of fun shit up. I'm up in the party up. Rats on the west side. Bed bugs uptown. What about us? Cause the title of my brain is flatter all over Manhattan. Should do be. Yeah. Along with the Prime Minister of Canada this afternoon, taking a break from putting taxes on America for oil, and energy, and natural gas and other things in response to Trump's tariffs. A battle brewing between the Prime Minister and the President-elect. He took the time out of his busy schedule to be with us today for 3 hours. It's Cam Stewart live from Toronto, and Mafia is running it with Luke. I am your father. The rundown on a Friday is as follows. We got a double shot with Morency from Vancouver in this very hour. Plus, Mark Zinno, who served our country and is a badass. We will have him talking about Army-Navy, which I had bet heavily on. Plus, in the second hour, Dr. Shivago, Dr. David Chow from SICScore.com in SoCal. And then in the final hour, the sportsbook consigliere himself, Dave Sherapan, a fine Steeler representative from Las Vegas. Cam, it's great to see you on a Friday, and I start with this. The taxes you're going to put on our country because of the tariffs that we're putting on your country and imports on top of that crappy Thursday night football game last night. I don't know what's worse, his tariffs, your taxes, and revenge, or maybe it is a good thing because we both hate the Niners.
We sure do, Scotty. I'm never betting these guys. I bet these guys in the Super Bowl, and I'm out in the parking lot crying with Brian Blessing as I'm begging a Marlboro off this guy, going, help me. And I had to go play blackjack for 2 days to try to get my money back from that damn Super Bowl they choked away against the Chiefs. Twice, actually, these guys. I don't know. I got my buddy's a Niner fan. I'm done with this team. Deebo Samuel, we'll talk about it, Scott. But I love Canada and American relations. You know, my friends at SportsGrid, my U.S. friends and Canadian friends, can't we just all get along? I don't want any trouble. It's the holiday season. Love you, Scotty.
It is true. Huge battles this week, Cam. In Week 15, a pain day activity, including the Keystone State battle for Pennsylvania between the Eagles and their infighting against my Pittsburgh Steelers. What a game. Should I drive down to the link and go to the game incognito, or will I be stabbed to death?
You're probably going to get shanked in the parking lot, but you could pull a Bobby Valentine, Scott. Get the mustache out and the hat. But I'll tell you, what a game, too. I can't wait. Hey, I'll give the Steelers all the credit in the world. It doesn't matter. They have the best coaches. Your special teams coach, I can't believe how much, imagine a guy chewed tobacco instead of gum. He'd have no, cheeks. That guy's amazing. I'm going to tell you, though, defense, Eagles fighting, interesting line, Scott. I'm looking at it. I hope it's not a bit of a bait line. If you like the Steelers, you're getting a lot of points in that game. I thought they'd be like Philly 3.5, not 5.5. Interesting number.
They're 5-0 as an underdog this year, and they haven't lost to a team with a winning record.
It's crazy. I just love the way your defense plays. They're so opportunistic. I told Gabe on the show, he knows too. We watch football since we're kids. Boswell is one of the best kickers, underrated players in the NFL. Nobody talks about this guy kicking at that stadium with the wins. It's not just about Buffalo. If you're a guy like him and you kick in Pittsburgh and you nut kicks like that, that guy deserves more respect. Chris Boswell, one of the most clutch kickers in the game.
He leads the league in scoring. He's been incredible, perfect on extra points, amazing on 50-yard plus field goals, the best in the business. The Bills and Lions at Ford Field in Detroit, unfortunately, at the same time as the Steelers-Eagles games on both networks, CBS and Fox. Which one are you going to watch? And what do you think of the Bills-Lions game?
I got to watch both, Scott. I'm going to split screen it up. I'm more into the Bills-Lions game just because my affiliation, just coming back from Western New York. I'm going to tell you this. I think the Bills losing to the Rams was actually a good thing. I'm not crazy, people. I think they'll be psyched for this game. I think Allen is going to go nuts in this game. And I'll tell you one thing, Detroit's been great, but also playing with fire. That Green Bay game got a little bit interesting, and Buffalo will be very angry on a fast surface in Detroit. Scott, you got to be happy for both of these fan bases. If one of these teams can make it to the Super Bowl, be great. Two tortured franchises playing each other and playing great. I lean Bills plus the points, and I don't know how this game goes under the number, but everybody's on the over.
The Packers are favored in Seattle at Lumen Field. Are you surprised with the Seahawks being in first place that they're home dogs?
I got to be honest with you, that line's a little bit disrespectful. I know Green Bay is a little bit better, but now McDonald's got that defense playing, Scott. What about Smith and Jigba? Have you seen him? Is this guy one of the best receivers? Like, he's coming out of nowhere this year, and that's made Lockett. You know what I mean? He was that guy. And Metcalf, who cares? It doesn't matter. Charbonnet running like a fine wine when Walker's out. Geno Smith, he can't play in the cold. Shut up. Yes, he can. Give Geno some love. The Seahawks were projected to be horrible, already hit their wins total. I hope we beat the Packers. Huge game. Green Bay always seems to have our number, Scott, but I'm very interested in the 3 with Seattle.
Yeah, I'm not rooting for Njigba or any Ohio State Buckeye ever. Let's just establish that early today on the show. I will not
he's on my team. He's on my team. You're right. I don't like the Buckeyes.
He's brought his venom and his jinx and all of his bad luck to your franchise, playing for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Screw him. You also have other games. We'll hit all of them. Dolphins, Texans, really that no one cares about, and the Colts and Broncos in the Mile High City. A baseball story or two to give you here to start off the show from the winter meetings. Huge deals today. The Yankees pull off one to get a closer, and obviously you have a chance to get a guy like Devin Williams. You make your move, and they did. What do you think of the Steelers getting Devin Williams to help their bullpen?
I think the Yankees, I got to tell you, this team, that's a great move by them. He had one bad game, Scott. He's a wicked pitcher, and at least the Yankees are doing something. People here are very close to rioting. As Prime Minister, I had to tell everyone to settle down. They got Ross Atkins on speed dial. Soto might be a Blue Jay. Wrong. Hey, Ohtani's on a plane to Toronto. Lies. All these guys do is talk, and we don't do anything. Bunch of losers. That team drives me nuts. Owned by a cable company, not even sprinkling on any money. Good on the Yankees for spending. Baltimore's going to make a move. I'm so sick and tired of the Blue Jays sitting on their wallets. It makes me sick.
So how about this one? The Cubs have pulled off a shocker today as they make a trade for Kyle Tucker of the Astros. Everyone thought he was going to the Yankees. I thought he was going to the Yankees. He ends up going to the Cubs. Your thoughts on that? And do you believe that the Yankees will still pull off a deal for Bellinger? Okay, we lost Cam. We lost Cam's audio, so I'll tell you what I think. Kyle Tucker is unbelievable, and he is going to destroy the ball at Wrigley Field, just like he would have at the short porch at Yankee Stadium. The guy already tore it up in Houston. Now he's going to do it on the north side of Chicago. Do we have, Cam, your thoughts on that Tucker deal?
Are we back, or did the Blue Jays cut my mic?
The cable company cut your mic.
Yeah, actually, you're right. They're my cable provider. Stop watching me, cable company. I got the business to attend to. And I don't appreciate that $517 bill with no movies on it either. For shame. Love the move. Love the move for the Cubs. We're going to do it all
today, plus Army, Navy, and the Heisman tomorrow.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Road management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was exciting! But he had that program. Was already going there.
Only on SportsGrid.
You can catch Sports Rage weeknights at 10 Eastern on all of our outlets. And thank God we get Morency for a double shot every day on Coast to Coast from Vancouver. They finally won a home game last night. Not only that, they beat the Stanley Cup champs and they shut them out.
Yeah, too bad I was a day late and $1 short. I guess the best way of putting it, I was early for the funeral and late for the wedding, Scott. I was there on Tuesday for the loss. Thursday, they win. It is what it is. Big-time win for them last night. And, hey, as you talked about, it ended up closing at plus 150 last night. So, big-time win for the Canucks last night. I figure like this, Scott, too. I picked this up at the game the other night. Vancouver Canuck baseball jersey.
Oh, I like that. It's very nice. That is styling.
Yeah, not bad.
I like that. It's very nice. Very sharp. I like that.
Yeah. It's unique. You know, it's a little bit different. I've got a couple of Canuck jerseys already. I saw the baseball jersey. I had to scoop it up. They play the Bruins tomorrow. Always a big time when the Boston Bruins are in Vancouver. And in fact, there was once a massive riot. There's an ESPN 30 for 30 about it. The Bruins and the Vancouver Canucks. Yeah, they went to 7 games. Game 7 was in Vancouver, and Boston won. And it's strange because Vancouver's not known really for violence, but it got pretty ugly after they lost.
They burned the city down, didn't they?
They pretty much accomplished it. Like they smashed police stations, media stations. Like nobody was safe, Scott. Like they went after everything after the game.
I've never actually wanted to destroy a place I live after my team loses in a sporting event. Like, how stupid are you?
Well, you know, I'm actually a riot veteran, all right? So growing up in Montreal, we're all about riots. Yeah, listen, the Guns N' Roses, Metallica, there's a famous riot. Where did that happen? Montreal, right? And where Montrealers tried to burn down a concrete stadium, which was physically impossible, but it didn't stop them from trying. I swear to God, Scott, I was at that show, all right? And it was Metallica, Faith No More, Metallica, Guns N' Roses. And it was the famous night. It was one of the weirdest craziest nights ever. Faith No More play, and then Metallica come on. And then after like 4 songs, Metallica has an accident. James Hetfield nearly dies like on the stage. He stood in front of the wrong pyro at the wrong time. Boom, it went off and it scorched him. So Metallica had to stop the show. They told Guns N' Roses, you guys got to go on. It can't wait like hours here because we got 55,000 like metalheads that are already angry. Metallica just cut their set short. Guns N' Roses waited forever, came out, only played like 6 songs, and Axl Rose walked off the stage and quit. And then the massive riot started, Scott. But what's funny about it is I'm in the front, and I told people, I said, guys, there's a riot about to break out, trust me. And I was with my mother and my girlfriend at the time and stuff. I told my mom, I said, Mom, there's a riot about to start. I think, we should probably leave right now. So as we're leaving, Scott, they attacked the Montreal Expo store. And I'll never forget all these people, punching Youppi, the mascot, and carrying Expo gear out. And I was yelling at them, what do the Expos do to you? They got nothing to do with this. And they're smashing the Expo stuff. I was like, hey. But yeah. So wild times, Scott. Yeah, I've been in a few riots. And it's weird. I've never been in a riot, though, after a team lost. Like in Montreal, when the Canadians win the Cup, it usually gets pretty wild. And there's mini riots. I can't deny it. But when they lose, there wasn't. It's strange. It's bizarre world. And look at L.A. actually this year. Props to L.A. after the Dodgers won. There was no rioting at all.
Well, what about you talk about quitters on stage. How about this guy quitting on the Niners on his teammates last night and walking off the field? He's finished with the San Francisco 49ers.
He's probably finished everywhere, although maybe somebody will pick him up right now that he's done. Your friend and my friend, Kyle Turley, once told me, I asked him, he was on the Saints. They were 0-12 when Ditka was the coach and stuff. I said, man, what's it like? And you're on a really bad team late in the season. And he goes, there's a saying in the room, Gabe, for who and for what. And that's why you see people not tackling, stepping back, right? People are like, I'm not getting hurt. I'm retiring. I'm not going to be on this team. This coach is getting fired. They have a lot of reasons why they don't want to play hard, and you'll see it at this time of the year. He just decided, I'm just not going in. I'm just not going in. But it's a good way to get yourself out of the National Football League.
Yeah, well, I thought it was a real wussy move, and I've never actually seen a guy just right in the middle of the game just say, I've had enough, see you later, I'm going to take my ball and go home. And
Antonio Brown's done it.
He walked
there's been players.
Locker room.
Usually, I remember there was a guy on the Bills. Who was it on the Bills? Somebody on the Bills did this about 10 years ago. He just walked off the field, left, didn't speak to anybody on the way out after. He basically, I retire, I'm leaving. You'll see this. You'll see players.
It was Vernon Davis.
Vernon Davis. Thank you. So, yeah, we've seen it. I remember there was a quarter.
It was Vontae Davis, not Vernon.
Vontae Davis. Yeah, I think they welcomed him back, too, didn't they, after that? He split. He just walked out once.
Welcomed him back. At least Antonio Brown took his clothes off. He was crazy.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Usually once a year, Scott, there actually is a player that basically quits on the job. It's one of those, like the diner, the cook in the diner, taking the apron off. Yeah. All right, take this job and shove it.
That's remember guys are taking in the Blues Brothers? Remember the guy came in and he threw his thing and he joined the band and he walked out. And
exactly.
Aretha Franklin was singing in the kitchen. He gave her the business.
It's like Costanza said on Seinfeld. Costanza did a great big walkout. He quit. He told everyone to go screw themselves. And Jerry said, "How did it feel?" And he goes, "Pretty good." And he goes, "How do you feel now?" He goes, "Not so good. Now I remember all the money I'm not going to make." So I'm sure after it's the regret after that, they realize, well, I really probably shouldn't have done that. Because all you got to do is go on the field and half-ass it, Scott. No one will notice, right? Just don't try.
Yeah, but there's nothing worse than a guy that walks it back the next day. At least you hit the Rams outright and with the spread. It was a great bet by Morency last night. We'll see who he likes Sunday in Week 15, a payday coming up.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Road management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
I'm actually not even on a side today.
Yeah.
And I'll get to that. Why are you on Texas?
I gave them a chance. Maybe not me as the overwhelming authority in college football, but entering that game on this set to you guys, I said there was one elite defense entering the matchup in Austin back to end out October. It's not the Bulldogs like it used to be. It is Texas.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
We've got two gigantic games, and then we got a bunch of other games, and obviously the two gigantic games affect you and I, the Bills and Lions at Ford Field and the Steelers and Eagles at the Link, and I'm still thinking about rolling down the 90 into Philadelphia incognito with my buddy. I've gone down there many times. I've learned a couple things. They have a stripper pole truck in the parking lot next to the guy that gives away free brisket. Also, keep your mouth shut if you're not an Eagle fan. So I go in there, I get my bottomless popcorn, I get a cocktail, a double, and I just shut up, and I don't say anything. I watch touchdowns. I went and saw Mahomes play there, and I just sat there, and he threw 5 touchdowns, and I was like...
Well, the thing with Eagle fans, they'll fight with each other even, right? Let alone the visiting fans. Every time I go to a hostile environment, I always tell myself, yeah, maybe you shouldn't wear this or do this and that. And I always end up at the last second. I'm not wussing out. I've been lucky a few times.
I am.
LA was, a couple of Ram fans got in my face a couple of times when I was alone in the bathroom at SoFi Stadium because the Bills were winning. But overall, other Ram fans told them to chill out. But I haven't been to Philadelphia wearing a Steeler jersey, so
yeah,
that's next level. But you look at this football game. You look at this football game, and listen, the Philadelphia Eagles passing attack is struggling right now. All right, like Jalen Hurts, they're not in sync. AJ Brown's complaining. Saquon Barkley's been carrying this football team, and I don't really think it's just Jalen Hurts. Their offensive line isn't great, right? They really do miss Kelsey a lot, and. Barkley does a lot of it on his own. Hurts is always rolling out and kind of running for his life, and he throws it away often. So long story short here, Scott, I think the Steelers can slow Saquon Barkley down. All right, so I don't think Barkley's going to dominate. Now, he's obviously going to pop one. He's like Aaron Judge. He might strike out 3 times, but he's going to hit a home run. So Barkley might pop 1 or 2 in the game, but I think they can contain him and then force Jalen Hurts to beat them. And we talk about Tallman all the time and his losing seasons and stuff. Forget about that. He's just a stud, Scott, when it comes to being an underdog. 5-0 as an underdog, single-digit underdog this year. How about this? 64-28 in his career as a single-digit underdog.
That's a significant number right there. When the Steelers are underestimated, this is when they show up. And I think I've always thought the Eagles are just slightly overrated. I think they're really good, but I don't think they're great. And I think this football game is going to be a close game. Give me the Steelers plus the points.
Woo! That's what I like to hear, Morency. Thinking big, staying focused. This is a gigantic game. Obviously, they haven't won there since 1965. I don't care about any of that either. I think this team is loaded. I think they're, in all aspects, deep. And they're getting it done, and that's just all there is to it. Every week they come up big. They laid the egg in the snow, and they had the lead in that game, 19-18, late in Cleveland. They blew the Dallas game. They had the lead with that and lost with 20 seconds left. They had the ball against Indy at the 40-yard line with 2.5 minutes left, down 6, whatever. They could have won that game, and they fumbled and screwed that up. And I just think they're a lot better. I think I've told you this 100 times. I think it's the Bills and Steelers. I want the Chiefs to go down. How do the Bills do at Ford Field?
I think the Bills are going to bounce back. If they would have won last week against the Rams, I would have been more concerned about this game, right? It was a tough spot. L.A., listen, the Rams are good, and the Rams are starting to peak at the right time once again right now. So no shame in losing to the Rams in Los Angeles. It was always a tough task, Scott, to win both those games, to go to L.A. and then go to Detroit and knock them both off. Now, it should be noted, it's a fun game. It's a potential Super Bowl preview maybe, but it's not even a conference game, let alone a division game. So these teams lose. You don't want to lose, but it's more of a showcase more than anything. And I think it's a confidence builder, I guess you could say. But I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills plus, it was 2.5. It's 1.5 now. But we'll go over the number, even though the number is high. I like the Seattle Seahawks on Sunday night getting to 3. It's dipped to 2.5 in some spots right now. And here's a somewhat upset special. Not really an upset. I'm not even saying they have to win the game outright, but I'm taking the Indianapolis Colts plus 4 points in Denver. I think the time has come right now. I think Denver have been in some close football games. Indianapolis need this game. This is going to be another close game.
Wow, that's awesome. All right, Morency, everyone can check him out tonight and then on Sunday night during the Seattle Packers game.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Road management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
I'm actually not even on a side today.
Yeah.
And I'll get to that. Why are you on Texas?
I gave them a chance. Maybe not me as the overwhelming authority in college football, but entering that game on this set to you guys, I said there was one elite defense entering the matchup in Austin back to end out October. It's not the Bulldogs like it used to be. It is Texas.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
All right, so we'll go back to that terrible game last night, which is what it was. Pouring rain in the first half, then it stopped in the second half, and they got 4 field goals and won the game. That's all it was. Here's Darius Williams. He picks off Purdy late on a deep ball in Rams territory on prime.
Taylor is the running back. Purdy going for it all, and it's going to be picked off in the end zone. Darius Williams on an overthrow.
You know what's great is you hear him booing, is that they were favored to go to the Super Bowl, and everybody bets on him to go to the Super Bowl, and they're favored every year to go to the Super Bowl, and they're going to be scalping tickets like everybody else down in New Orleans to go to the Super Bowl because they're not playing in the playoffs. You can put a fork in them, and how quickly they turn on him. You hear them booing him? They're booing Purdy now. Wasn't he like the greatest quarterback ever? And then he's the new Joe Montana, Brock Montana, they call him. And look at this Kyle Shanahan. Isn't he a genius? I can't keep up with all their sophistication. John Lynch and everyone else. They did a great job coming off of losing 2 Super Bowls. You know what's great about it for me, Gabe, is that they've been stuck on 5 forever. And they've lost 3 of them now, trying to get 6 like the Steelers and Pats. And they can't get it done. And now they're not going to the postseason. I don't believe for 1 minute that they're going to the playoffs with their 6-8 record.
God, no. No, and the Rams are still there. And, even Arizona's in a better spot than them. Scotty, I got to tell you, look at the money they paid for these guys, too. The Bosa deal. Trent Williams is one of the best tackles in the league. He's hurt all the time. This is done. Like San Francisco, is it rebuild time? What are you going to do with Purdy? He was a 7th-round draft pick for a reason out of Iowa State, right? He looked good sometimes. Is it the system? Christian McCaffrey will never be the same. This is the thing about this team. They're old, aging, and they had their window, and they couldn't get it done. As for a Steeler fan, optimism. You guys, every year you grind it out. You're better than expected, and the Patriots will have a rebuild. We'll see what May does. But the 49ers, their fan base, and you know this too, Scotty, there are going to be some lean years ahead. Rams are looking good. Seattle's got a young coach. Arizona's got young players. They could have some big problems moving forward.
What a shame. I don't know how I'll ever get through the day. Seriously, I could care less about their problems. And you know what? I've said the same thing about Christian McCaffrey. How many leg injuries can this guy have before he just can't play football anymore?
It was hard to watch that game in Buffalo because they were running in for a touchdown and his leg seized up. That's the whole thing, Scotty. Like, you've had injuries. You play basketball. After a while, I played hockey. I got my head bashed in. My knee, my back hurts every day now. Like, these things, and we're not even superior athletes like he is. There's no way you could play at an NFL level. Yes, we are. We still got it. But I'll tell you, Scott, I love you, Ferrall. You're the best. I'm gonna drop 40 on this loser in the men's league. I'm gonna tell you. But this guy, Scott, and playing football with these killers out there now, big problems. I know they got Garendo. I know they got other guys, but San Francisco, that window, closing big time, and I don't think he'll ever be the same.
Let's listen to Matt Stafford, who simply got another W. They've won 7 of 9.
I thought our guys up front did a really nice job. Kyron ran it tough. Our receivers blocked on the edge, and then, we made a couple plays in the pass game. And like Coach was saying, that you could kind of get the feeling that was the kind of way this game was going to be played. It was going to have to be one of those games. And you score 44 4 nights ago or whatever it was, and come out here and score 12. They both count for 1. Sure, I would love to, not hit Hufanga in the chest on 3rd down. I would love to not do that and score a bunch of points, but you got to play each play as it is and each game as it is, and we got to win.
Yeah, they did, and they started 1-4, Cam, and look at them now.
I got to tell you, Scott, and the game they had against the Seahawks had were inside the 5-yard line, and they got no points. They had a turnover, interception in the end zone, exactly what they did to the Niners on that play. The Rams are a weird team. They could look like junk. Stafford didn't even play well, but a couple plays to Nakua, and boom, they're in business. And that's what they do. And I'll give McVay credit. He's a damn good coach. Stafford didn't even bring his A game last night, and they found a way to get it done. Scotty, they won the tiebreaker over Seattle, too. Remember, they beat the Seahawks in overtime on that crazy Robinson touchdown. So very interesting stuff. Rams and Seahawks going to be battling it out big time in the NFC West.
They sure are, and that's exactly what I want to see. I'm done with San Francisco. In fact, I'm such a D that today one of my best friends is a Niner fan,
Me too.
And I mean to tell you, because I have no mercy. Like, two things. One, I told the story of my buddy. We were coming back from Pittsburgh on a flight, and he fell down on an escalator. Like, his bag got caught on the escalator, as the stairs keep opening up. And his bag got caught, and then his leg got trapped under the bag, and then he went down. He started bouncing down the stairs. He started screaming for help, and he was screaming, help, help. And I turned around, and I looked, and I went, oh, man, I got to film this. So I filmed him suffering and dying and getting eaten alive by an escalator. Second thing, I did nothing to help him at all. Secondly, my buddy today that is a Niner fan, I called him, and I left a 5-minute message of their Super Bowl losses, their loss last night. They got guys quitting on the team, that they're overrated, bunch of cheese and cracker-eating femmes and Pinot Grigio drinking wussies. I left this guy the meanest message. I was like, I hate you. I hate your team. I hate your wife. I hate your children. I hate your dog. I hate your neighborhood. I hate your town. Your team sucks. Stay away from me. Merry effing Christmas. Have a crappy New Year. That's the message I left.
You're a true friend. Yeah. Hey, my Niner friends are the cockiest guys, too. Every year. Niners. You know what? I'm so glad it couldn't happen to a better friend. These guys think they're going to the Super Bowl every year. I'm sick and tired of it. Enough. That's the best. I didn't help my friend. He fell down an escalator.
What did you
I don't ever piss you off.
He called me up later. He goes, what's your problem, man?
Yeah, you got a real problem, Ferrall. That was pretty mean.
What's your problem, dude? I don't have time for this, bro. So what did you think of the guy that quit? Like, I would have cut his ass last night when he was getting undressed. I would have had John Lynch, if I was running that team, I would have literally sent my assistant down to that locker room and said, oh, by the way, you're finished here. You're cut. Here's your papers.
Here's another thing. Debo Samuel's on the internet worrying about trolls, and the guy cost the Niners the game last night. Here's a tip. How about you use your fingers not to hit keys and catch balls? That guy dropped 3 balls last night. One was a definite touchdown. I have him as first touchdown scorer at 8-1, and this guy drops everything in sight. Horrible performance by him. Stop worrying about Twitter and get out there and make some catches. Pathetic performance by the Niners last night.
We actually had him as well for the first tutty. Let's listen to him make excuses after the game.
Real, very, very frustrating. Like, end of the day, like, it's that ball. It's nothing there but the end zone. At the end of the day, you just got to catch that rock.
I mean, you know you've been able to do that in the past.
Just like seeing a moment. Came across the middle and see nothing but the end zone at the end of the day. Like, trying to put the ball in and go score.
You know, this guy this week complained about they're not giving him the ball. He's not seeing passes. And, he just gave everyone the business on the Niners about why he's not, producing. And he blamed everyone and anyone that was in earshot. And then he goes out and has a terrible game. He had it coming.
Great call, Scott. I didn't like that press conference either. I know when I played hockey and had a crap game or whatever, I'd be pissed. That guy's like kind of laughing nonchalantly about, I would have done this, I would have done that. Like, get angrier. Like, get into it, man. The whole San Francisco thing, I don't know what's going on with that team with Shanahan. I think there's a lot of things behind the scenes that are not going well, and they're going to have a lot of changes moving forward.
I get so sick and tired about hearing listen, I don't deny that Shanahan is a good coach, okay? I'll give you that. But all this talk about being a genius and, he's the best coach in the NFL and he's so sophisticated and all his offense is so out in the stratosphere above everyone else's. I'm sick and tired of hearing it. When we come back, we're going to talk to Mark Zinno, an Army vet, who obviously you see on In-Game Live on SportsGrid. He's a badass. Checking in from Atlanta, Mark Zinno is here.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
I'm actually not even on a side today.
Yeah.
And I'll get to that. Why are you on Texas?
I gave them a chance. Maybe not me as the overwhelming authority in college football, but entering that game on this set, to you guys, I said there was one elite defense entering the matchup in Austin, back to end out October. It's not the Bulldogs like it used to be. It is Texas.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
All right, so I wanted to hear from some of the particulars in these big games on Sunday in the NFL Pain Day style. I want to start with Russell Wilson. He's talking about how he's done in his career in rivalry games and how good the Philly Eagles really are.
Yeah, I won them all. That was always a good in high school. And then in college, I guess, NC State versus UNC was always a big one. We won those. In Washington, you don't really have anything up there, miles up in Seattle. But, I think, Coach always finds a way to motivate us in such a way. We have such respect for this football team we're about to play. And, this is a team that's been to the Super Bowl. I was telling the guys, this is a team that's been in the Super Bowl recently. Some of these guys on this team have played in it, been in it. They got, one of the world's best running backs, too, as well. That's been added to this football team. They got great players. We got to be ready to play our best football. This is what it's all about, these moments. And it's going to be a heavyweight fight, and we got to find a way.
Listen, I think, Cam, that this team can play the Lions in the NFC title game. I really do believe that. I think their little infighting receiver quarterback drama is nothing more than a waste of time. I think that when it matters most, that Hurts will connect with Brown because he's awesome, and Smith because he's awesome. I think they're a dangerous football team. I know that the Steelers have never done well in Philly. They haven't won there since 1965. That's that's 59 years it's been since they won a football game there. That isn't a trend. That's a significant FU, okay, is what that is. That is, they do not win in Philadelphia when they play there, which is crazy. And I think this team is super talented, super deep, super loaded, playing great football, the Steelers, in every facet. I think their passing game is good, even without Pickens. I think their tight ends are great. I think their running game is solid with Najee and Warren. I think their defense is badass. Their pass rush is badass. Their secondary gets it done, and they hit violently. Their special teams, you talked about Boswell. It's better than Philly's. It's that simple. And I think that they're a very dangerous football team. Now, maybe they're jinxed in Philly. I don't know what to say about it, but I think they have a shot. I really do. I think they can go there and win this game. Now, based on history, they won't win it.
I'm going to tell you, Scott, and also it must be great being a Steeler fan. You've had 3 legendary coaches where guys are going through, teams are going through 20. And then you have a situation where, every week you're prepared. You always get a big defensive play. Like the Steelers, I wish I was a Steelers fan. I'd have a lot less blood pressure. These guys do it right. Philadelphia, on the other hand, I think the Steelers have a better coach in Tomlin than Sirianni. He will figure it out, but I will say this. The Eagles do have Barkley. They have weapons. It's going to be a great game. Scott, one thing I'm looking at this game that people are talking about, it's a low total. I think it goes under. I think defenses actually show in this game. I think Pittsburgh can kind of hold Philly, and I think there's going to be a lot of field goals in this game. I know 42 and a half is low, but I like the under in the game more than anything. I think the Eagles might squeak out a win, but it's a lot of points if you like the Steelers, but I like a defensive battle.
Yeah, I like the Steelers with the 5.5 and the under as well. I think both of these defenses are legit. Obviously, the Eagles' running game is just fantastic with Saquon. Let's listen to Barkley talk about what the media has done to try to screw up their season.
I mean, it's football. It's Philly. I've been part of Philly. I've been part of New York. Something got to happen. You know what I mean? Got to have some type of entertainment. But at the end of the day, only thing that matters is what we think in this locker room and how we operate in this locker room. And our job is to come here and answer questions, but respectfully, what you guys say or the stories or the narrative that created by the media, I shouldn't say you guys and feel like I'm attacking you guys, but the media in general, doesn't matter. It matters what we believe in this locker room, and there's a reason why we're 11-2 and we got 9 in a row, and we got a tough opponent coming in, and we're going to try to do the same thing.
So the Eagles are the number one rushing offense with 190-plus yards a game, and the Steelers are top 5 defensively, allowing only 91.5 yards rushing a game. Something has to give. The Steelers have the most wins, 5, over opponents that are over 500. The Lions and Chiefs have 4. The Bucs and Ravens have 3 wins over teams that are above 500. Pickens is officially out against the Eagles. I have heard that he may miss these 3 big games against the Eagles, Ravens, and Chiefs on Christmas Day. So let's look at the number. It's we've obviously said it 1,000 times. It's 5.5 and 42.5. And we've already heard from Cam what he's going to do here. So the Steelers will allegedly be the first NFL team to play in Ireland. They have announced that they are going to be the team that plays in Ireland in the International Series in 2025. I don't know who they're going to be playing. Now let's shift gears and listen to Josh Allen talk about what he sees when he watches the Lions play.
They are high effort as they come. Obviously one of the top scoring defenses in the league. We're not playing their offense on our side of the ball, but they do such a good job of holding on to the football and scoring points. It's a really, really well-coached team. And they've battled with a lot of injuries throughout the season on that defensive side, and you wouldn't know it by watching the film because, again, they know the rules. They attack each and every play, and we got to be ready for them.
All right, so Cam, we have the top 2 scoring offenses in the NFL going at it in the Motor City Sunday at 4:25. The Lions number 1 at 32 points a game. Bills number 2 at 30.5 points a game. What gives?
I don't know, Scotty. I'll tell you, those defenses might be a team with last ball wins. I'll tell you one thing. McDermott better be damn aggressive like Campbell. He's going to go for it in every 4th down situation. Sometimes it doesn't work, but that's the guy is. He's a damn riverboat gambler. This guy's the real deal. Bills coming off that loss to the Rams. I think Allen is going to go nuts. I think he runs for a touchdown in this game. I would not be surprised if he put an effort like he did with the Chiefs. Give me the 2.5 with the Bills. I think they win the game outright. I'm thinking like 31-27 Bills. That's what I'm thinking. I think they win outright in the Motor City.
So you still think it goes over because they're both so good and they're both going to score?
Yeah, I do, but you know this, Scott. What's the NFL? The games that should go over go under, the unders go over. I'm worried. I like the Bills 2.5 money line. That's what I'm playing, and I'll definitely tease them to the over.
So you're staying away from that total, which is a smart thing to do. It should be an incredible game. We'll hit the rest of the games later as we continue on a pain-free Friday on Coast to Coast. We'll try to track down some of our guests, see where they are, see if maybe they're drinking. Maybe they're at a bar drinking.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
I'm actually not even on a side today.
Yeah.
And I'll get to that. Why are you on Texas?
I gave them a chance. Maybe not me as the overwhelming authority in college football, but entering that game on this set to you guys, I said there was one elite defense entering the matchup in Austin back to end out October. It's not the Bulldogs like it used to be. It is Texas.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
So here we have Xavier McKinney talking about Geno Smith, the Seattle quarterback, as they get ready to face the Packers at Lumen Field on Sunday night, and the Packers are favored.
He does a good job of looking off. That's something that I noticed that's pretty big. I think he's had some turnovers this year, but he's a really good quarterback. He knows how to improvise plays. Like I said before, he knows how to win. I think that's the best attribute when you have a quarterback is, getting a quarterback that can will your team to a win no matter what. No matter if it's a pretty one or ugly one, you're able to get the job done. And I think, regardless of, the things that they've been through, and just even in his career, he's been through a lot of things and still been able to overcome a lot. And, he's playing well.
It is amazing the job that he's kind of carved his niche in Seattle. He's done a good enough job there that he's like the man for the Seahawks. They have really kind of no other choice. He's their guy, and he's earned it, and he's done it, and they're winning, and they're in first. And their next three are against the North, the Packers, then the Vikings, then the Bears, if you can believe it. And they finish the season with the Rams, as Cam had talked about earlier. It's really down to those two, and they're going to meet in that last game. So what do you think of him as a Seahawk fan, that he's your guy?
I like Geno Smith, and people will look at the numbers and go, wow, he's 14 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. A lot of those aren't his fault. The Seahawks have one of the worst offensive lines in the league, and he's made do. He's running at the end of games, kind of like what Allen does for the Bills, breaking tackles, breaking ankles, and you know what? He's a gamer. Scott, one thing that people aren't talking about, he's second in the league in passing yards, Geno Smith. This guy was a cast-off from the Jets, cast-off from the Giants. He's been knocked his whole career. People tell him he sucks. And you know what? Seattle believed in him, and he's paying him back. I know it, and I think a lot of those interceptions are not his fault. All I know is one thing. He's a grinder. And if you give him time, he'll slice you up. Seattle's line, that's the problem. Scott, you're with the Steelers. You get an offensive line that's good and competent. A lot of quarterbacks that are average will look good. Geno actually has to do more because Seattle's line is one of the worst in the league. But they're getting it done. And the defense is getting better under McDonald, a Michigan-Baltimore Ravens guy. They're a tough team. It's going to be a great game versus the Packers. I think it's going to come right down to the wire.
So are you going to take the 2.5 with Seattle?
Yeah. I already got 3. It was a great number that I got at 3. The 2.5 is kind of lingering. I think they win the game, but I definitely like the field goal with Seattle. being a little bit disrespected. They're a hot football team right now, and I think they can beat Green Bay.
I like that home dog shot that you're taking against, I think, maybe a better team by a smidge. I think Green Bay is dangerous, but that's a dangerous place to play. The 12-man, Lumen Field, Sunday night, Seattle, cold, could be raining. Let's see what happens. I think it could end up being a great game. We'll see if the Seahawks can pull it off. Here's Baker Mayfield now. He says he just has to reset after tough plays.
Yeah, I'm not exactly a great example of positive self-talk. But just hit the reset button, go through it, look at the pictures on the sideline, and then move on. And this is, we need everybody to do their job each play, so I have to be, the tone setter when it comes to that. If I'm making a bad play, it's the next one. Let's move on. Let's make it happen.
Can you elaborate on that a little more? Because you come off as someone who has a ton of confidence, even when things maybe aren't going well. You're saying you have a lot of negative self-talk when mistakes happen?
Yes.
Look, so
I like
that's
Mayfield.
A brutal trip out there from Tampa to Lipstick City to play at SoFi against Orange Sherbert and a tough Charger team that's coming off a loss. I think the Chargers are lying in the weeds waiting for them.
Agreed, Scott. And let's give Baker a lot of credit, too. Hey, this guy's thrown 13 picks, but he finds a way. Third in the NFL in touchdowns. This guy grinds, top 5 in yards thrown. And, his career was in the dumps. Remember, for the Panthers and got that one game. And look what he's done. One thing I love about Baker Mayfield was he was this golden child coming out of Oklahoma. He got a slap in the face, and he's come back even better. Great game. I lean Chargers as well. I think the Chargers will win right around the number by 4. Just cover.
So they lost to the Chiefs by 2, and you think they'll bounce back?
I do. I think they should have beat the Chiefs in that game. Tampa Bay is a very good football team at 7-6. They don't get the respect they deserve, but the Chargers at home, I think they'll find a way to get it done with defense, win by 4. Just cover, Scott, but it should be a good game. Maybe Tampa on a teaser.
I'll tell you what. I mean, they're a dangerous team. They've won 3 in a row. They beat the Giants' ass. They slipped by the Panthers in overtime, and then they beat the crap out of the Raiders at Raymond James last week. So they're hot. We'll see what happens Sunday night in Lipstick City.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
He also said that the Bears head coaching opening would be the most coveted job after the season.
They'll let that guy stay. I heard today that they were very worried about screwing up Caleb Williams, so that he likes this guy Brown so much that they may let him stay as the head coach. What a disaster that'll turn into.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
I'm actually not even on a side today.
Yeah.
And I'll get to that. Why are you on Texas?
I gave them a chance. Maybe not me as the overwhelming authority in college football, but entering that game on this set to you guys, I said there was one elite defense entering the matchup in Austin back to end out October. It's not the Bulldogs like it used to be. It is Texas.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
We are close right now to round 1 perfection. And the problem I'm going to have is, depending on some of these outcomes on Saturday, it's going to ruin my excitement for round number 1.
I'm not going to yell. I'm not going to scream. Called my doctor after last Monday when we went at it. He said, listen, the blood pressure is off the charts. We can't have you looking like that. I don't want to see neck veins.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.